Hey, welcome to the Chronic Wrestling Addiction Podcast. We're your hosts,
Bubs,
the Monster Truck Canucker, Bradshaw,
and your referee, Kevin Faber.
Before we get into today's episode, we want to remind you guys to head on over to our social media pages and give us a like and a follow.
Welcome to the Chronic Wrestling Addiction Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Faber, and welcome to January's recap episode. Here with me today is the Monster Truck Canucker, Bradshaw. How you doing, Brad?
Hey, it's going on. It's going on, man. It's good to be back. Feeling a little bit under the weather right now, so I apologize about all the coughing. But it's good to be here and recapping what happened in January for the world of professional wrestling, and it was a damn good January.
Yeah, so let's hop right on into it here. So, January had a lot of really interesting things happen in the world of wrestling, both on live TV and at indie events in the local area. And one of the things that I did want to mention specifically, AEW had its first title change happen finally since it started up. Yep. And it did happen on the Jericho Cruise. Kenny and Hangman won the tag team titles. I am totally pumped about that one. It's a fantastic thing to see Kenny with that, and Hangman's just playing this gimmick so well. I'm truly enjoying the drunk side of him, I guess, is the easiest way to put it.
And the fact that they're integrating it into being the elite is like the best part too.
Yeah.
Like the episode yesterday where they basically, had him almost narrating what was in his head, talking about what was going on. It was the funniest thing I've seen in a long time.
It is a good time everything that's happening. Another one I wanted to mention from AEW, Kip Sabian and the Joey Janela feud. That's hot, man. I'm loving this and the different memes that are coming out of it. Like, did you see the other night when Kip and Penelope went to go kiss, and then it was Joey that ended up right between them?
Because Penelope and Joey used to be together.
Yeah, and it's quite funny. I do want to point out that Kip yesterday started streaming live on Twitch with Penelope, and I believe Havoc was there as well, which was funny. So, I mean, they might all be hanging out, might all be living together. Who knows on that one? Yep. But, I mean, honestly, I think I'll be paying attention to Twitch for a little while there. I do want to give a shout out to Prairie Wrestling Alliance. So there is a woman named Gigi Ray. She won her debut in the promotion, and by doing so, she actually won the women's title.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I got to meet her and train with her a little bit at a camp at one point, and now she's going out there and really just hitting it off. I do want to point out that the woman defending her championship that night to Gigi Ray ended up losing. However, Zoe Sager went on to win the Resolution Rumble.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's going to be an interesting time, and I can't wait to see how that plays out. We did have a Force show that happened in January. Force Pro Wrestling gave us the return. There was some fantastic matches, like always. I don't know if you managed to catch any of that on the live stream.
No, I was working that night.
We'll have to get you on that.
That working leg, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, Barry Grayson, Kato, and Sheik Shabazz had a three-way dance. I called this match specifically, and it was quite interesting watching it from the perspective that I got to see it from. However, I do want to point out that it was a fantastic defeat. Watching it from that side, Barry Grayson just clearly finishing off the match properly. Kato, as always, confusing me. This time he decided to place my finger in my pocket. You'll see that on the DVD there and live stream whenever they do the live watch along or match release. There was a very questionable win from Jack Pride over Colton Kelly.
Was it Jack or was it Pride?
I'm pretty sure it was Pride in there. I mean, I couldn't be certain. I was not calling this match. I was watching it from the back. However, it appeared as if Pride's shoulders might not have been down. But I don't think the ref could see that clearly. So when Pride was pinning down Colton, Colton's shoulders weren't quite down.
Okay.
That's what it seems to appear like, as that's what the crowd was pointing out and wanted to make sure that everybody knew. And then Colton Kelly unleashed hell upon his ref for the match, which leads me to believe that it might be quite possible that Colton Kelly didn't actually lose the match.
Okay. And guys, I just apologize about the coughing. I am under the weather, so I do apologize about that. But I don't know. Jack Pride confuses me every single time I've seen clips of him. Like, it's I can't understand it, dude.
You need to follow him on Facebook, man.
Well, he does call you a
promo.
stupid ref at times.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like Jack. Jack's nice. Pride, not so much. He's kind of mean. Moving on, I want to also talk about New Japan. John Moxley jumped Suzuki.
I saw something today on Instagram. John Moxley kissed Suzuki's head. I don't know what that was about. It was the weirdest clip I've ever seen.
Well, they are definitely building up to a good match here, I would have to say. I can't wait to see it, and whatever comes of it, it'll be a fun time. WWE, we had quite a few things happen.
Oh boy, did we ever!
January. Oh, this is.
And I'm upset that I had to leave for one of them just because of some other stuff. But
yeah. Well, first big thing. Let's just get it out of the way. Edge returned at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
that was amazing. Hearing, what was that? 42,000 people. They said, just go ballistic.
Yeah,
was amazing. The spears he delivered, the way that he performed and continued to keep up with everybody. He was in the Final Four.
Like, what a return! You know, it's something that the fans have wanted for a long time, and especially since Daniel Bryan came back from his injuries, people are like, okay, that means he can come back, and he had wicked neck injuries. What about Edge? You know, it kind of laid the groundwork of like, okay, now something possibly could happen. So, and then it finally happened. Entry, I think 21, I believe 21 or 23, around that range. It was just like, are you serious? As soon as you heard "You Think You Know Me," it's just like the roof came off. Like, probably one of the biggest pops I've heard in years.
I do have so much expectations for this now, but I just don't want to overdo it to myself. Having seen this new speculation of like everything that could be happening with Edge, it's great to also see that Randy Orton seems to be back into legend killing mode. Yes,
and what happened that Monday? Oh boy, that set the groundwork for. Let's say, I'm going to say it, WrestleMania. That laid out the groundwork for Edge versus Randy Orton.
I'm excited for this. It could be absolutely fantastic. It would be a wonderful way to see Randy Orton get put down and lose one at Mania.
And even last night,
if he doesn't, lose that match, it's fantastic for Edge and Randy to get to work together at this point in their careers.
Oh yeah, and last night on Raw, Randy Orton coming out and the heat that he got from that crowd was nuts.
Oh.
You know, and for him just to be like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, he just left the ring. That was perfect for Randy. Because we haven't seen this side of Randy in a long time. You know, this sadistic, calculated, cold side.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, that's for sure. Especially with the Saudi show coming up, Super Showdown, and then Elimination Chamber, I believe, is after that next.
Yeah.
The possibilities for what could be happening between now and Mania are endless at this point.
And it's said that it's written somewhere that Edge has signed a 3-year deal.
I honestly hope it's true. Just like we have Morrison back right now too, and with Morrison back, I want to point out that him and Miz are number one contenders.
They're winning the titles. It has to happen. I love the New Day. They're one of my favorite acts of all time. But with the nostalgia of Miz and Morrison, You know,
it's good for a run. Good
it
for
is.
a title base.
It
Just
is.
have
And then,
there,
you
something
know,
to fight for and raise the tag team back up.
and it allows, you know, so many more opponents against Miz and Morrison. You know, and I'd love to see Miz and Morrison go against the Revival 1-on-1, but supposedly the Revival has asked for their releases again. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that.
Honestly, if they do leave, I do wish them the best wherever they decide to go after, you know, however long they do not do anything for. I do really also want to see Heavy Machinery face Miz and Morrison. That would be fantastic. I love Otis. You know what? Just because I'm bringing it up right now, very last day of January, so it'll just make it into this topic as it is. Otis scores a date with Mandy Rose on Valentine's Day.
Oh my goodness, I cannot wait for that episode of SmackDown.
It's going to be fantastic. However, there is quite the possibility of just somebody interrupting, and I honestly hope that if somebody comes in and just becomes an ass to Otis, that Mandy stands up for him, even if this is just to build her up, and then just give her stupid amounts of heat later. We need that.
It's going to be Sonya Deville screwing everything up or something.
It's quite possible.
The one thing that I wanted to mention when you're talking about Edge is AJ Styles gets injured during the Royal Rumble.
And now AJ does not blame Edge for that spear.
No,
he does
but it was during the spear.
Yeah, he did say that was his own thing. But he is going to be out for a little bit. Who knows yet? Could be quite some time. Could be a little bit of time. It really depends on how he's healing and how everything comes back after different medical tests, right?
Because I believe he landed awkwardly on his shoulder from the spear.
Yeah, it looked kind of not the greatest.
No.
I do want to point out as well, since we're back on the Rumble there, that Drew won the Royal Rumble and he challenged Brock Lesnar.
Yes, and they laid the groundwork for that in the Royal Rumble match with the elimination of Brock Lesnar by Drew McIntyre.
And the way that he stared at him when he eliminated him and dropped him straight out, I could not believe it.
Oh my God.
Stare down. That Claymore.
That was let's do this. You're going. Your reign and tear is done.
And the fear on Brock's face.
Oh yeah,
I could not believe it at the time.
It's Drew's winning at Mania. Like there's no way they cannot have him go down to Lesnar at Mania, because that would just piss off so many people. But WWE's done that before.
They have.
They can make people happy and super glad, but then they can make people hate them.
Yeah, that is definitely a thing. I do also want to state that I did have a single complaint about Charlotte being the winner of the Women's Rumble. It's Charlotte. However, there's hope for it. Right,
as of last night.
Hope. Yes, as of last night. I mean, I know it's not part of January's thing, but still, Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair. I'm okay with this.
That came out of nowhere. I was watching it last night. I had the day off, and I was watching Raw. And as soon as I saw, I was like, "Whose music is that?" Because it took me a second. I was like, "Wait a second, no way, Rhea Ripley."
Oh, I was so pumped
and
for it.
On this upcoming episode of NXT tomorrow night, Charlotte's going to be appearing to give her response to Rhea Ripley.
And honestly, this is just a direct slot to put in to take on the fact that AEW is giving Cody his 10 lashes.
Yeah.
And it's tearing me apart. I've got to get 2 screens going.
See,
I'm gonna have 2 screens up to watch this. I gotta figure it out.
I'll be honest. I'm the NXT guy in this. I don't watch AEW a lot. Now that I have cable, I probably will. But I am the NXT fanboy. I love NXT.
NXT's been great. Don't get me wrong. And I'm much happier now that Rhea Ripley's on it as well, because I love her. However, man, some of the stuff they're doing over there, you gotta catch some more of that AEW, man. Honestly, they are perfect to be going head to head with each other because both are the nitty, gritty, edgy shows that they need to be to keep pushing the barriers moving forward in wrestling now, where I feel that Raw and SmackDown have been kind of dragging behind, and we don't get a lot of New Japan over here, so our real close experiences to those guys are when you get one of the Bullet Club members who goes on tour through North America with, whatever company that's coming through, like ROH,
CWE. Look at Chase Owens does tours with CWE.
Yeah, he's done it with them. I believe Kenny's been on a show with them, stuff like that as well. So that's why you really get a lot of people heading out to these indie shows. Don't get me wrong, I've been to a few of the live shows that have come here to Edmonton, right? And you can see the place is pretty packed. So WWE is definitely a good product still. They're the big name. But now there's finally competition to one of their brands. And the competition to that brand is the perfect piece that's there. But they actually have more money there because of the backers that are just pushing a single product instead of everything else.
Yeah.
If Triple H had more control over what he could do with NXT, or if there was a way that he could have more of a budget to really up the game, I think there's a few other names that he'd be able to pick up and pull away from places.
100%.
That could 100% do it, knowing that they'd be safe with his brand.
And, I feel like star power, AEW has them. But as far as in-ring stuff at times, I feel like NXT, you have Keith Lee, for instance. Keith Lee is one of those talents that the guy just blows my mind every single time I watch him. For a man his size, he shouldn't be able to move as gracefully as he does. And that's one of my big, guys I feel like AEW doesn't have. They don't have a guy with that kind of a talent, in my own opinion.
That's you're entitled to your opinion on that one. I do feel they have quite a few great things going on for them right now, and
I might just need to watch more AEW.
Yeah, just check it out. If you're gonna go watch the response to Rhea Ripley, just make sure you PVR some AEW.
I don't know. I watched Double or Nothing, I watched it here with you.
Yeah.
And I've always just felt AEW's been just a little bit overhyped. That's just me.
No, that's fair.
People are even before they went on air with TNT, they were like, AEW's going to destroy WWE, blah, 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 blah. And it's only a few months in, still, to this whole Wednesday Night War.
Yeah,
and I'll be honest, AEW, from what I've seen with the ratings, AEW has, had more viewership over WWE and NXT. But I feel like with WrestleMania season coming in and what they're trying to do with Rhea Ripley and Charlotte, that's going to bring some eyes back to NXT.
Definitely bringing us over to NXT for sure. It is a power move, especially because that they continuously stated that it can be used to challenge for any championship. Though it kind of would have been funny if she did challenge for a different divisions.
Yes,
championship.
All of a sudden, go for the.
I would have been quite happy with that
cruiserweight title.
How much does she weigh?
Probably got to be.
She's jacked.
Let's look.
You feel free to look it up. While that's going on. And
let's see here, Charlotte Flair.
So, while you're taking a look at that. With everything that's been going on, I feel
65 kilograms.
I want to get that, changed over to something that I know. I'm a pounds person, mister. I know it's terrible.
65 kilograms is 143 pounds.
Yes, she can challenge for it.
Yeah. Imagine she goes up against Keith Lee.
There's a few different things that she could do, right? But, January overall was a great month for wrestling. I can't wait to see more of the indie events that are through this area as well. planning on hitting up any Force events that get announced, and I can't wait to hear more about this. I believe there might be one in February. If there is, I gotta make sure I get booked.
Yep. I gotta hopefully make sure I have time off or I'm not drumming that weekend.
PWA is announcing their shows coming up as well. It's gonna be great times. Barry Grayson's still doing great things.
CWE coming to this area soon.
Yeah, a couple months and we'll have them in here. So
2 shows like within driving distance for us.
Yeah, we'll have to get some of those boys, maybe 1 or 2 of them on the show as well. Get something recorded with somebody on the one date. And
Shane Douglas, the big attraction for those.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun time. Thanks for listening, guys, and we'll catch you next time for our February recap, as well as any episodes that come out in between. Have a good one.
We here at Canucker Wrestling Edition wanted to thank you for listening, and remember, if you like what you heard, head on over to our pages and give us a follow.